Hello, I'm Ivy Kohler, and today I'll be giving a presentation on 21st century skills and how I work to develop those in my students in my own personal classroom. So first, before I go into my own classroom details, I want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as what 21st century skills are. So 21st century skills, as defined by Battelle for Kids, is really skills that are needed for people to be successful in the 21st century as everything is constantly changing. So this specific framework was developed by educators, education experts, and business leaders, and their focus was really to have students develop life and career skills, learning and innovation skills, which they often call the 4Cs, and then also information, media, and technology skills. Life and career skills is focused on skills that one needs for career environments and just to be successful in life in general. So some of the skills within this larger skill group include flexibility and adaptability, so the ability to be flexible and adapt to any changes that happen. Initiative and direction, so the idea that you take action yourself or the students take action and that they're self-directed and don't need someone telling them what to do step by step. The third skill is social and cross-cultural skills. So it's this idea that especially for students, we want them to be respectful of people's cultural backgrounds and understand that they're going to meet people from a wide variety of cultures and a wide variety of backgrounds. And we want students to understand that there's a difference between social interaction and interaction in a career setting. And so this skill is really focused on understanding that difference. Productivity and accountability. We obviously want students to learn what it means to be productive and to be held accountable for their work. So there's this sense of urgency that they have to be productive and they have to work toward their goals. And they also have this sense of accountability, holding them to it and motivating them to produce work. And then leadership and responsibility. This goal is really focused on the idea that students understand what it means to be a leader, but also what it means to follow someone's lead, and understanding the difference between the two. And for responsibility, it's this idea that students are held responsible for the tasks they're given. So whether that's self-directed work or work assigned by an instructor, students have a responsibility to complete their work and communicate when they're struggling or when they just need some help. So for my own personal classroom, the course I'll be focusing on for my examples is my Pathway Exhibition course, and it's basically a college and career readiness course. So the population that I work with specifically for this course is 12th grade students. And the first project that I really feel hits on the life and career skills focus is the Job Shadow Career Interview lesson. So within this lesson, students have to decide whether they want to do the job shadow or the career interview, but the focus is on their future desired career. So students, regardless of which choice they make, they have to research, identify, and then contact someone in their desired career to arrange a job shadow or interview. And then once students have completed the job shadow or interview, they then reflect and share out about their experience. So this lesson really fits the 21st century framework. Now, within this whole course, the lessons really focus on the 21st century framework in total, but this lesson specifically does a really good job of hitting that life and career skills set. So the first part, initiative and self-direction, this is really hit upon during students' research efforts. So students have to take initiative to research, identify, and then contact someone in their desired career. So while I'm there as their support and as their teacher, I'm not giving them the person to call or giving them their phone number or contacting that career person for them. Students really have to take initiative and be self-directed in that mission. That initiative and self-direction also really hits on the ISTE standard that focuses on knowledge construction. So students in that research effort are really constructing knowledge and being self-directed in obtaining knowledge from others. So it's not just me as their teacher giving them the information, students are actively seeking it out. The second skill set from life and career skills is productivity and accountability. So I find that this is really emphasized in the scheduling efforts. because students have to go out and schedule and then do a follow-up process. So they have to make sure that they are very well organized with who they're contacting, when the shadow or interview has been set up, the confirmation efforts, and all of that. And then accountability. It's their responsibility. If they're arranging a career interview or a job shadow, they're showing up. They're showing up ready and willing to participate. So they're being held accountable for the goals that are set for them. Flexibility and adaptability, I feel like, is really emphasized in the actual job shadow or career interview. So students have to be flexible and be able to adapt because they don't know what to expect when they go to the job shadow. So they've arranged it and they know that they know the person who is kind of their point of contact, but they can't predict what's going to happen every minute of that job shadow, or they can't predict what the person will say during a career interview. So students really have to be flexible and be able to adapt to whatever they see or whatever the person says that they're interviewing. For the fourth skill, social and cross-cultural skills, this is really embodied in the whole experience. Students really have to understand what it means to interact with others, whether those people are from similar or completely different backgrounds culturally, socially, economically, and otherwise. And students also have to understand the difference between interacting with someone in a social setting versus interacting with someone in a professional career setting. The fifth skill set outlined here is leadership and responsibility. And again, I find that this is very prevalent in the entire lesson. Students have to be the leader and go out and arrange a shadow or an interview for themselves. And then they have to be a leader and confirm that experience. They have to show up on time and be a responsible participant in that. But then in some cases, like the job shadow, they might act as more of a follower as they follow the lead of the person they're shadowing. Whereas in the career interview, they're acting as more of a leader because they're asking the questions of someone else. And then for responsibility, there's a great deal of responsibility because this is a real life application for this course. So students are not just showing up to class and taking notes or doing a lesson or a worksheet. They're going out into the real world, and there's a big hit of responsibility that comes with that. They must show up on time. They must act respectfully and professionally. They must ask appropriate questions. They must do things on time according to the schedule they set. So there's a great deal of responsibility that comes with it. The second larger skill grouping is learning and innovation skills. So these are skills that really help prepare students for challenges they might face both in work and just in life in general. And so these skills are often called the 4 C's because it's creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, communication, and collaboration. So within my own classroom, the application that I use for this, again, is with 12th grade students in my Pathway exhibition course. And so the project that really hits on the 4 C's is the resume. In this case, students have to draft a 1-page resume to really showcase their skills and their knowledge and experiences. And then once they have their resume draft, they collaborate with one another and provide constructive feedback for their peers. And then students will also meet with me to further discuss their resumes, and I'm also considering potentially, again, involving outside people, so people beyond the classroom, to potentially read and review the resumes as well. So the resume project really hits on the 21st century framework, again in total, but especially the 4 C's. So creativity and innovation is really shown through the format, design, and access process. So students can choose what format and what actual application they're using to create their resume. So some might use Microsoft Word, some might use Google Docs, others might use Canva. And then the overall design. Some might do black and white with basic bullet points, some might have more of a color to it. And then accessibility. How is it accessed? Are we printing it? Are we linking it on a website? Are we sharing it through Google Drive? So there's a lot of creativity and innovation that is naturally embedded in this lesson, and a lot of student choice along with it. For critical thinking and problem solving, students have to really think hard about the purpose of this resume. So the resume is focused on a career that they would get right after high school, and so they have to evaluate what is valuable versus unnecessary details that they should include in their resume. And then for communication, for this particular lesson, it's really in two forms. Written form through their actual resume, but then also in-person communication as they're going through that feedback process. And then collaboration, again, they're participating with one another and doing that constructive feedback, both with peers and with myself. The last set is information, media, and technology skills. So these are skills that allow one to really participate and contribute effectively through technology. So these skills include information literacy, media literacy, and information communications and technology literacy. So again, I'm still working with my Pathway exhibition course with 12th graders, but this project that really hits on that technology focus is the website portfolio and presentation. So students are given a list of pages and subpages that they need to include on their websites, but they then get to create and design an entire website framework to showcase their work. And then once they finish the website, they present it to a panel, which includes me, the school counselor, and a community member, ideally someone in the student's desired career. So for this really hits on information literacy because students have to access their information and produce information through their website. So it's all about showing and putting their work from this whole course onto a website for others to access. And so with that comes the idea of media literacy. Students have to understand how to use the website platform, which in this case is Weebly. So they have to understand how to use the tools and how to also use the tools effectively for their purpose. So again, it's not just using tools for the sake of using tools, it's really using technology in a way that is purposeful and works toward your intended goal. And then the last part, information, communications, and technology literacy, is really about using appropriate technology, so the actual website building, and using that technology to present your formal review of your work. So this lesson and this skill set really focuses on the ISTE standard about being a creative communicator, because students have to communicate clearly and really express themselves creatively in unique ways for the purpose of showcasing their skills and their knowledge and using technology to do so. So I found another example of a classroom revolving around yearbook, and the video really showcases the positive impact of 21st century skills development. And so we can see here, I added some quotes from the video, but students have very positive feedback about how 21st century skills help them develop as a person, help them become more mature and well-spoken. So you can see that this is positive beyond just my own career and college readiness course. So in conclusion, the whole content is, especially for my course, is really career and life focused. So the 21st century skills, it's all about being effective in life and specifically in careers. Students are actively engaged in constructing knowledge. So they are knowledge constructors, as the ISTE standards promote. And they're really constructing knowledge from real life experiences. So it's not just a teacher standing in front of them giving them information. Students are building knowledge through real life applications. And then technology serves as a resource for students. So students can use technology to research, communicate, collaborate, and problem solve, again, in real life contexts. There is an opportunity for growth, which is actually emphasized in this video that I found. And the idea is that as teachers, we need to understand how to use technology effectively in order to promote that effective use for students. So one opportunity for growth for students is actually to give more teacher training and implementation for technology. That was my presentation. Here are a list of my references that I used for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. And also, just as an FYI, all pictures that were taken were linked, and if those pictures are not linked. It's actually my own picture that I used from my library.